Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Inspiration Talks. I'm very excited about today's episode because the guest which I have today is very special. She is not only a blogger but also a great architecture. So before any delay, let me welcome her. Her name is Hadia Malik. So Assalamu alaikum Hadia.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम कैसी हैं आप?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक, आप कैसी हैं?
I'm good. I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining, for being part of it. And would you like to give a small intro about yourself?
No problem at all. And I'm glad to be a part of this. Just a short thing. I just want to say that I love the work that you're doing, and I love the fact that you're talking to all these interesting female sort of entrepreneurs / bloggers. That's super inspirational. A short introduction about me is that I'm an architect, and so I did a 5-year degree and a 5-year architecture course, and then I did my master's from it in interior design. In around 3 to 4 years, I've been working so in the field. I have my own small setup, and बस यही introduction है मेरी. This is my introduction.
Okay, so what do you think about COVID-19?
Okay.
As last year से लेके अभी तक COVID खत्म नहीं हुआ completely. So what are your opinions on that?
Okay, so COVID started off when I had just come back from Europe, and most of us weren't really taking COVID seriously, and I would be one of those people, honestly. But I would say that COVID has completely changed the landscape of to literally everything. And लोगों का काम करने का तरीका change हो गया है, लोगों का रहने का तरीका change हो गया है. Our routines have been affected to a great extent. So COVID has its negatives as well as a few positives also. It's been good for a few people who, some people who want to settle this, sort of get used to this routine at home, who want to balance work at home. But then again, it's also been economically very damaging, for some people. So it's been a mixture of both. This is what I would say, to sum it up.
Yeah, you're right actually. ठीक है. So before we move ahead, let's revive some childhood memories. So when you were choti, what was your favorite subject in school?
Honestly, so I was a big geek, and I loved science. But somehow slowly I developed this interest in art, and so it went on from there. I studied pure sciences in my own O and A levels, but somehow I won't say flair, but I would say that I had this interest. I wanted to develop my sketching. So hence I had these sort of options in my mind going to higher school के या तो मैं civil engineering कर लूँ या मैं architecture कर लूँ. So it was always about that, It was related to that, something related to being creative yet practical at the same time. I hope you know what I mean, because that's what my field is about also.
Okay, so in this way you basically opted for architecture.
I did. I wanted to be an architect since a very long time. After I finished my A levels, just a senior high school, I did have this in mind कि मैंने architecture ही करना.
ठीक है. और when you were छोटी, क्या did you have any nickname?
Yeah, I had a couple of weird nicknames. I mean, I've been called Hada. I don't know. They've been pretty weird. I don't think I would want to share more nicknames. They're pretty weird. I've been called Hadia. I don't know. It's just a weird nickname.
Yeah, no, it's okay because Hadia is also a unique name.
These are my nicknames.
Okay, wow.
Hadi.
These are actually nice. Hadi is nice name. Nickname में कुछ भी डाल सकते हैं. So when you were choti, were you afraid of anything?
I would say I was. I haven't been scared of the dark or horror movies as per se और ऐसी चीजें नहीं. But I would say that I'm kind of scared of I was kind of scared of my teachers. Some of my teachers. My sports teacher. I was scared of my sports teacher because I was really bad at sports, and she would sort of scare me more. By अपनी तरफ से she would try to encourage me, by trying to push me to try more. But that's what scared me. So I was scared of a few adults, I would say, including my sports teacher. And I was also scared of lizards. Lizards, somehow I don't get scared of insects, I don't get scared of animals. But lizards have been, I guess that's a story of a lot of girls anyway. But lizards really do scare me.
Lizards are actually, even cockroaches. I don't know. I don't like cockroaches.
Yeah, I'm okay with cockroaches. I'm also scared of being trapped in lifts. because once I was entering a lift and uske jo darwaza, so I was like 10 or 9 and I was entering a lift, so wo band hone wali thi, right? And I was there. So that sort of gave me a phobia of lifts. That agar main andar ja rahi hu, so I would get stuck between the doors.
But you will have the phone, right? You can call anyone.
That's true, but I was a kid then. I was like 11, 10, 11. So उस वक्त मुझे वो डर था. अभी भी when I go in a lift, I would think about it, but obviously then logic weighs over fear. So
exactly, there are emergency buttons if something happens at the lift.
I know. Not always though. Pakistani lifts we're talking about. A few. Not always. Sometimes yes.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, right. Lifts, there's a kind of, they are like lifts ke bare mein.
Yeah, but it's just lifts in general though. It's not about a specific place. Yeah.
Yeah, they are in general. Okay, so as you are an architecture, so how was your journey in architecture? Like when you were studying it, did you face any difficulties?
So I would say this one thing at the start, I really thought that I really asked myself this question, that what have I signed up for? I don't know, I had these phases when I was thinking that, because it's a tough program, right? It's one of the toughest programs you can get into. It's a 5-year degree. So there would be moments where I would really sort of doubt myself. But what really inspired me to do better in architecture is that there is the fact that there's no limit to your creativity, okay? And you can translate your creativity in your design. And that is what inspired me and sort of, encouraged me to do better. When I realized after a few projects, I had this mini thesis project in my college, and I'll be honest, and I think a lot of people can relate, I wasn't doing very well academically. And it was not until I had this mini thesis project, we were allowed to use our own ideas, we were allowed to take our own ideas and translate them into something. And so that gave me the freedom to just be myself, right? Take my worldview. So that is the point when I really developed, I really regained my trust in architecture, and I regained my confidence in my work. I did a whole research and the project, and we were supposed to come up with the project on our own. So I came up with this center, a sort of therapeutic center for depressed patients, and just doing that whole research on important things, on interesting things, such as therapeutic architecture, color psychology. All of these aspects of a space, a healing space, that really, pulled me in to better. So this is what I would say. This was my journey. This was my start. Then coming to work life, it was a mixture of ups and downs. But somehow, it's just the idea that how creatively you can take a space and how you can translate your idea into something. So that just inspired me. So yeah.
Okay, so from where did you study architecture?
Well, I did my architecture degree from the National College of Arts in Lahore, and it's called the bachelor. It's a bachelor in design degree, and it's for 5 years. The first year is a foundation course in which pretty much every art student has to study that. So they teach you sketching, with the basics. And then the other 4 years are, specialized years in architecture. So, yeah, that was my program I did from NCA.
NCA, okay. So as you studied from NCA, so if any student want to study in NCA, so what are the requirements for admission? Like general requirements which are compulsory. Are there any specific tests for admissions?
Yes, I would say not a lot of specific tests, but I would say that anyone who really wants to, and I'm sure that all art students already are working on this and are, interested in it, is to develop your sketching. Develop your sketching, develop your idea from the perspective of an architectural student, develop your ideas of proportions, of spaces, just practice sketching. You could enroll in classes. That's the most important thing. So like, other things वो तो हो ही जाती हैं.
तो यानी कि इधर सबसे important sketching है for admission.
Yeah, I would say that you keep on practicing, because this is what the entrance test is all about. They have this general test, general knowledge test. That was back in the time when I gave my test, which was in late 2012, they had general test. I think they had a short mathematical test. They had an interview, and the interview was pretty interesting because they gave you a chance to sort of exhibit your own talent. Bring your own musical instrument, anything that inspires you, anything that you like to do, and yeah, sketching because
Okay.
that's the test. So they give you something to draw. They would give you maybe during my time. They had matchboxes. They said, "Aapne ye sketch karna hai." So they kept them in the corner, and we were supposed to sketch them with all the light and shadows. So it was an interesting test.
As you're working in architecture field, so how's your experience going with dealing with different clients?
I would say it's been a roller coaster of a ride. At the start, of course, when you start working, it sort of gets confusing. But
Yeah.
gradually as time passes, you realize that it is actually a great learning experience. And I would say that the input of clients in many cases is valuable because they have their own ideas and you have yours, and you sort of try to find a balance between that. And वो ही interesting होता है because and the most interesting part is that when you meet a client whose ideas or whose choice is the exact opposite of yours. And recently I have been working with such a client since I've been working more in interior, and उससे का ज़्यादा मजा आता है.
Exactly.
जब किसी के बिल्कुल आपसे exact opposite choice हो, you get the chance to learn more because then you sort of use your aesthetic sense or your ideas and try to combine it with their ideas, which is a lot of fun. It's a fun process. And
Exactly.
the best thing about design at any stage, whether it's school, college, university, serious, work life, professional life, it's the whole design process. Those discussions, sharing of ideas, usse like you get to learn a lot. And this is what I would say, that in short, that clients to slowly as you get to know them and you get to learn about them, you see that every client is unique, every house is unique, like all the details. मतलब अगर हम घरों पे आए, even commercial projects, it just becomes more and more interesting, and the learning never stops. The learning definitely never stops, no matter how old you get.
Exactly.
So there's no limit to that. Like the creative process always develops, it evolves and it gets better. So similarly, the learning never ends. It keeps on
That's right.
changing.
True. Exactly. You're right. So, what are your favorite colors to work on? Or yeah, sometimes what are the colors? If someone wants to know, कि आजकल कौन से colors हैं which are most commonly used for interior decoration?
So it's summer, say it, and it place to place depend करता है because I work with a few overseas clients like from home, and for example, I worked with this guy from Norway, and he really liked to keep it simple. He would love the use of wooden flooring. He would like simple walls and stuff like that. The use of minimalistic things, keeping maximizing views in a space. But अगर हम पाकिस्तान की बात कर रहे हैं तो it depends from area to area. In Lahore, people do like a bit of. I'm from Lahore, so people do like a bit of bold. कलर्स की बात करें तो पर्सनली मैं आपको बताऊं, आई वुड से कि यहाँ के मौसम के हिसाब से आई एम बिग फैन ऑफ पेस्टल्स, लाइट कलर्स. बट अगर मार्केट के हिसाब से बात करें, people love gold. People are big fans of vibrant greens and blues, and I don't mind those colors either. So जो in color है ना इस season का, I would say कि somehow gray never goes out of fashion. Any shade of gray in clothes or in interior, I guess. मतलब clothes का नहीं मैं confirm कर सकती, पर architecture interior में grey shades, like any shade of grey. Then we whites. फिर उसके बाद जी हम आगे any color that has sort of a cool calming effect, which would be light green and light blue, sky blue. I'm a big fan of sky blue and mint green. I think these colors create a really nice sort of an environment, and you combine it with warm lighting. Warm lighting is always used for a residential space, mostly, if not always. तो उसका एक बड़ा अच्छा एक after effect आता है. So yeah.
Okay, ठीक है. फिर इसके बाद हम आ जाते हैं. Let's imagine and inspire. So, if you win a lottery ticket, what will you do with the money which you will get? Like, for example, you get infinite amount of money. So, how will you spend that money?
Somehow, going on solo trip comes to mind. Although I have done a few, not many. But if I won the lottery, I would definitely यार वो बचपन में हमने बुक नहीं पढ़ी थी Around the World in 80 Days.
हाँ.
वो वाला कुछ मतलब I don't know if everyone knows about it. खैर वो मेरी favorite book थी. So I don't know. I would go on a solo trip. If I won a lottery, I would maybe get a ship. I don't know, buy a huge ship and just
Wow.
travel.
So, like, why not Jahaz? Jahaz will be more convenient, right? इसमें you can
जहाज भी जहाज जो है I feel it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I don't know why. Like I can
Is
never
it-
feel comfortable in an airplane unless मैं अकेली हूँ उसके अंदर मेरा private jet. हाँ सही. You have given a good idea. I would get a private jet if I won the lottery and travel to. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
You will not prefer to buy a ship if you prefer ship. Will you buy a
Yeah,
solo
yeah,
ship
yeah.
for yourself? Yeah, for like उसमें कोई different
Solo.
लोग बैठे.
नहीं solo. I would like to keep it solo.
It's good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's a solo trip, right? So I'm
Yeah.
going to be solo on it.
ठीक है.
Yeah.
So further you will travel the world being a solo person. So what about if you had a time machine? So would you prefer to visit your past or future?
I would definitely visit the past because future का कोई पता नहीं है. It can be good or bad. So there is always that element of uncertainty. But in the past, I know which memories I want to relive, and I know exactly, what those memories are. So I would definitely want to go back to the past if I had a time machine. But अगर मैं future का सोचूं, it's just so uncertain. It's
Yeah.
kind of scary. It's so uncertain that it's scary. So I would definitely go back to the past and relive some amazing memories that I have with family and friends and close people. So definitely go back to the past.
Okay, ठीक है. So if you get a chance to live anywhere for one whole year, like for example any country, so कौन सी country would you like to prefer?
Well, I would definitely consider going to, I don't know, when I think about it, Africa comes to my mind. Morocco में मुझे बहुत interest है. I've been looking at the history and heritage, not a lot, mostly the architectural buildings. मुझे Morocco बहुत प्यारा लगा. I feel like I could live in Morocco. I don't know why, just by the pictures. I feel like there's so much color and there's so much, I don't know, the food, and it seems like a comfortable place to live. फिर उसके बाद I've been, I don't know, I've been really interested in Japan. Maybe because of the architectural aspect. And then again, if I could go back and live in Italy for a year, the 3 places that I've mentioned till now, I would definitely live there for 1 more year. It was great. So yeah, these are my 3 places that I would definitely, 1 year each.
Get a chance. So you will prefer Africa, yeah, Europe or Morocco. ठीक है.
Yeah.
So as you visited Europe, तो उधर what was your favorite city? सबसे पसंदीदार city कौन सी? Which you would love to visit again?
Somehow Prague comes to my mind. I went there in the winter.
Yeah.
The thing about Prague was that there was something so whimsical about it. मतलब बिल्कुल वो जैसे आप बचपन में वो fairy tales type नहीं पढ़ते जिसके अंदर आप पढ़ते हो कि there was this castle and it had those big sort of clocks and those cobblestone doors. Prague बिल्कुल वैसा था. Honestly, you would get this in the winter. You would actually feel warm there. It was so beautiful. Like everything. Like when you would walk on the road, you would get to see all these street vendors selling, warm snacks, coffee. It was beautiful, and the lights, because I went there जब उनका holiday season था, so all the decorations, the lights, it was really pretty, and I still think about it sometimes. It was that pretty. मतलब it was a sight to behold. वो बहुत प्यारा था. Prague was बहुत प्यारा. It was beautiful.
Okay, great. The way you are explaining it's making me also imagine कि वाकई बहुत pretty था. Okay, क्या do you have desire to learn languages? If yes, so what language would you like to prefer to learn apart from English?
I would want to learn. Somehow I feel like learning Chinese. I don't know why, because it feels so hard. Something
Okay,
that's difficult, I would want to learn that. Yeah, it feels so hard, like all those syllables, and I don't know क्या उसकी letters इतने ज़्यादा हैं. And I don't know somehow how they write it. It seems very interesting. And secondly, I would want to learn Persian. उसके Spanish या Italian. one Latin language. But Chinese जो है ना वो मुझे बहुत interesting लगती है, मैंने वो सीखनी है. And फारसी का जैसे मैंने आपको कहा था somehow जब लोग बोलते हैं तो it seems beautiful. But इन तीनों में से अगर मैं एक निकालूं ना तो I would want to learn Chinese.
Okay, wow,
I don't know.
Chinese
It
is a
seems
great
so
choice.
exclusive.
Yeah, it is actually.
It seems like an interesting language to learn.
It is.
I don't know. Huh.
The whole world has
It's
different.
pretty
All languages are like
yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
interesting languages. I wonder if koi
Yeah, languages are fun to learn.
Yeah, it is fun to learn. There are even some people who have learned more than 20, 40 languages, 60 languages.
Oh, I wish I could be one of those people. It would be pretty helpful when traveling.
Yeah, it is actually very useful while traveling. Proper right way at learning a language, I feel like it takes more than 1 year. Like if even
definitely
we give
more
it time. So what do you do when you get angry?
Since I have a lot of temper issues, when I get angry, I decide to sort of put all my negative energy into my work. That feels much better, and I would recommend. I don't know if it works for everyone, but I would recommend that you try it, especially if you're in the creative field. जब आपको गुस्सा आता है, अपने काम पे गुस्सा निकाल दो instead of throwing things. Because I do have short temper issues, and I try to control them on a daily basis, by focusing my energies into work. So yeah, I would say put your energies into work, start drawing, या आप अपना काम कर लो laptop पे, या लिख लो, whatever floats the boat for you. If you like to cook, start cooking.
How do you relieve your stress?
So how I relieve my stress is that I would say the best way to relieve stress is to maybe go outside for a good walk, watch a good movie, do stress eating. I love to eat. Uske alawa, just sort of do anything that makes you feel better about yourself. हर बंदे का अपना होता है. I would watch a night show, or maybe take some time for myself, get some dim the lights, candles लगा ली, थोड़ा लेट गए, थोड़ा सा use some sort of an oil. Eucalyptus oil is good. उस किस्म की चीजें just to feel better. Because work can be stressful sometimes. COVID की वजह से life has been a bit stressful. It's been a very stressful time in general. So my way to cope with it was to try some new cooking. Sometimes a few dishes, but that was very rare. Maybe watch a nice show, read a good book.
Yeah.
Recently, I've read a few good books. So these are small things, छोटी day-to-day activities that I would say. Maybe try out yoga, some breathing exercises that would make you feel more at ease.
Okay. So what career path do you see yourself in future? Do you see yourself as an architect?
Yes, I hope that one day that my company grows and I take a big commercial projects. I really want to design a mall. I want to design a mall, maybe a skyscraper, I don't know, something like that. I mean, I've been doing pretty interesting projects, alhamdulillah. I'm really happy, okay, I've had the opportunity to do these projects at this age, I guess. But अच्छा है कि if I get to do these large scale projects, that would feel even better. So yeah.
Okay, ठीक So any advice for those who are thinking कि वो भी architect बन जाए? Like for example, for the girls who want to become an architect. So what advice?
Definitely.
Those?
Definitely. My advice would be that be ready to invest some time. If you want to invest your time in something like, you have to invest. वैसे तो I would say हर career को, if you really want to do your best at it, you have to. But be ready to invest some time. सही The advice that I would give is कि अगर आपका दिल चाहता है, आप इस फील्ड को करना चाहते हो, अगर आपका दिल कहता है तो आप करो यार. Like don't shy away from it, and don't be scared of what people say कि अच्छा तुम लड़की हो, you won't be able to deal with vendors, you won't be able to deal with so many men because it is male dominated, anywhere you go. सही है, इसमें है ख़वातीन कम है पर हैं, and I feel that you should go ahead and do it because Pakistan has not a few, but an inspirational female architect, Yasmin Lari. I mean, look her up, and you can go ahead and don't doubt yourself, don't undermine yourself. Just just keep believing in yourself, and yeah, start practicing, start researching, talking to the right people,
Exactly.
and you'll feel better. कोई आपको negative चीजें भी कहें, you just keep going, and I think that applies for anything in life, especially as a
Exactly.
female.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially as an individual, but also as a female, especially.
Exactly. You're right. Tika, it was great to have you, Hadia. I really enjoyed talking with
Thank
you.
you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. It was great to be on your series, and I hope that you do better and better and your channel grows.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
inshallah. Here is a small gesture from me to you,
Thank you so much. I can have my coffee in it daily.
Wow.
नहीं यार अच्छी बात है coffee fan हूँ यार.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciate it. And again, thank you for having me on the show. And I hope that you continue to do better and better. Sure.
inshallah.
So I would want to say that don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on her amazing page. And just take a look at her channel on YouTube. It has the most interesting videos with relatable experiences. So yeah, hooray, inspiration talks.
Everybody.
Okay.
Wow, good. Now let me start. Okay. Okay, ठीक है. अच्छा, so what about
That's
go?
pretty much it.
ठीक है. Sound. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sound. I was checking the sound. Move forward. आगे चलते हैं. आगे देखते हैं क्या
Okay.
होता है sound के साथ.